Here we go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome to the Into the Abyss call. My name is Diane Hochman, and I have had a home business for the past 13 topics ranging from serious marketing, attraction marketing, social media marketing, and all that good stuff. But my favorite, did I mention favorite thing to talk about is mindset. Because I am a firm believer that without the proper mindset, without process, no matter how hard we try to build our business, we are going to struggle. Now for me, it's been a absolutely tumultuous journey the last several years, but before that, in trying to figure this whole thing out and really trying to get myself as a human being under control. At age 32, I was completely out of control. I was obese. I was in debt. I was depressed. I was miserable. I had 2 little kids. And if it weren't for them, I'll tell you, I probably wouldn't have gotten up off the couch. That was 1999. I stumbled into the home business industry because I needed to make money. And then I started to get exposed to personal development, the concept of it. I had never heard of it before. My parents had never heard of it. Nobody in my world had ever read a book like this or listened to a tape like this, or certainly had never attended a seminar to become more. I was taught you work hard, you do your job, you come home, you watch some TV. If you're dad, you pop a beat. If you're mom, you eat some ice cream. And that's what life is. That's what I was taught. And when I came into this world and I started to learn about personal development, I started to examine who I was being. Write down the word real big, being. That was when I realized that if I wanted to get where I wanted to go, if I wanted to make the money I wanted to make, if I wanted to meet the people I wanted to meet, if I wanted and he said to me, for things to change, you got to change. And for years, I spent a lot of time belly aching. I spent a lot of time being a victim. I spent a lot of time complaining about my circumstances. And it was also Jim Rohn that said to me, you can't complain about the government because that's all you got. You can't complain about the town, the taxes, the weather, the this and the that, because that's all you got. At some point, step up to the plate, and you have to decide that you were the only one that was going to make the difference in your life. And so I got all this stuff, and it was good, and I listened to a lot of tapes, and I, spent my days on that. And I'll have to show you guys. I still have my original cassette Walkman, and I have my original CD Walkman. It's funny how clunky they were when I look at them now compared to like an iPod or our phones. I had these big clunky things and these big headphones, and whenever I went grocery shopping, out of the house, and I didn't need my ears for safety. For example, when I was driving, and if I was driving, I had a tape or CD on anyway. I had headphones on. I always had headphones on because what I realized was that I had a problem, and I had a problem with my self-talk. And you let me know if you resemble this at all. My self-talk was, you're dumb, you're fat, you're stupid. You're stupid, you're dumb, you're fat. You're really, really ugly, and you got to be kidding if you think you're going to build a business. And I would hear that in my mind all day long when I woke up in the morning, when I went to bed, and then I would hear it from my family members as well. They weren't that mean. I tended to be meaner to myself than they were to me. But they basically said, I'm foolish, I'm a dream chaser, I needed to settle down, I needed to do this, I needed to do that. I had left a state job, the ever-coveted secure state job, which, by the way, doesn't exist anymore today. Would have gotten laid off in 2 years if I hadn't left anyway. And I left a state job a couple years into my business. Now, lucky for me, and I do mean lucky for me, I always need money, not a lot of money, but I actually thought that my business was like a job. Nobody told me. I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything about network marketing. I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything. I just thought I had a little store and I was supposed to sell stuff. It was my job. So I always sold stuff. And I always earned a profit, never lost money. Like a lot of people will tell you, I lost this, or I made $1 million, and I lost $1 million, and I made $1 million. I was too broke to even consider losing money. $5,000 on something like a lot of people do, because I didn't have $5,000. I needed $40,000 to qualify for broke, let alone having money. I didn't have any more credit cards. Mr. Visa and Mr. MasterCard were calling me daily to remind me that they would not extend me any more credit. So basically, here's what happened. And let me take you on a sidebar and stop that storyline for a minute to wish you all one of you that's on the line, and there's quite a few of you, took the time out of your Valentine's Day to spend a little time with me. And the topic that we have tonight is actually quite relevant to Valentine's Day, and I'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, many of you have seen that the title of the series is Into the Abyss. Okay, into the depths, into the deep. There was a movie in the 70s called The Abyss. I remember it when I was a kid. The Abyss is a very, very, very deep, dark place. It's the place most people in this happy, clappy industry don't ever want to talk about. Because everybody's busy talking about $1,000 days, although most of the people that as always, when we talk about money, we have to put in a disclaimer because it's right and it's fair and it's proper. Tonight, we're not discussing making money, whether we'll make money. We're making no guarantees. We're making no claims. We are doing none of the above. We're talking about your mind. There are times when I with you different vehicles that I use to make money. After this call, I will share with you, not on the call, but if you care to contact me or the person that invited you, we will share with you some of the vehicles that we use to create income. If you should partake in any of those vehicles, we do not guarantee your progress. And tonight, as we go into the abyss, I'm going to explain to you why I never could. So it's into the abyss, into the deep, dark place. And I call this little kingdom that I've built here Camelot. Because in my heart, in my soul, down to my toes, I believe that each and every one of you is a king or a queen. I believe that each and every one of you has a regal heritage that you may not have figured out how to live up to yet. I believe back in 1999 when I was struggling that I was a queen. I just couldn't figure out how to put on my robe and carry my scepter because I was tripping over my own drama. And so tonight, on this night of love, which, by the way, somebody last time, I think it was on the marketing that we were all talking about having wine and stuff, and this call we're pretty serious, but it's Valentine's Day. And my honey was looking after me. And my honey got me some beautiful, I don't know what my video camera's called. There it is, CyberLink UCam. I look like a mess. I'm wearing a T-shirt from one of my marketing programs. And then I'm also wearing my pearls that I got for Valentine's Day. My hair's up in a ponytail, and I have a phone headset on. But we're going to try and see if we can get the UCam up. And actually, on the broadcast, you should be able to see it. So let's see. If there I am, I'm a total mess. These are my pearls. Check them out. And here's my champagne. I kind of am not worried about, when I'm working and doing these calls, I'm generally pacing around the room, so I can't really be too worried about stuff. So let's take a quick picture. Whoops, happy Valentine's Day, cheers. Excellent, cheers. We'll close this out. So here we go. Oops. Here we go. Let me refresh the screen. Let me see who's here with me. And it's because I'm like a dog. I circle about 6 times before I'm a spot. When I'm talking about this stuff, this personal stuff, it takes me a few minutes to get right into the place that I want to get. If you just joined us, we're at facebook.com/Diane Hochman training. Guys, if you go over on my, I'm going to see it. I'm not going to answer you. Tuesday night during our marketing training, people were commenting over there. Let's see what everybody's saying. Hey, Scott. Is it here? Now, I'm not going to pull it back up, but I do have, no, you guys don't think, you guys probably think I'm crazy. I'm going to do this. Where is it? What was that thing called again? Can you guys see it? I think you guys can see it. There is one of my tiaras. Now, it doesn't look very good for the way it is, etc. But there's one of why do I have a tiara sitting in my office? Because sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm queen. Because sometimes I feel down in the dumps. Check. Guys for helping each other. Jess is a queen as well. Awesome. Wow, it's Debbie's birthday. Happy birthday, honey. Margaret, welcome. Nicole, awesome. And if I'm queen, good. Wonderful. I think Stella, Tracy's cat, needs a tiara. So here we go. Here we go. I can see that everybody's here and everybody's on board and everybody's ready. I'm ready. Well, I get a couple years in the business and into changing my life. Was in an environment that made I was doing some cool stuff. We were paying down our debt, but something still wasn't right. I couldn't seem to crack the $5,000 a month level, which some of you guys might be thinking, I'd give anything to make $5,000. Guys, you don't understand. Making your $1,000 for a month is actually really hard for a lot of people. Your first $1,000 month, and everybody's talking about $1,000 a day. How many people out there make $30,000 a month? Not that many. You guys got start having $50 and $100 days. Now, some of you guys are beyond that. You know what I'm talking about. For you, just pull your number to where you need to be. Most people know money. Most people lose money. Their dreams. I'm here. I want to talk to people that would like to pay for mortgages, pay for kids' colleges, drive a decent car, and go on vacation. Now, if somebody will... But they'll say, Diane, you should dream bigger. You're not dreaming big enough. You know what? I don't dream in bullshit. Uh-oh. She said a bad word. Even on Valentine's Day. I don't dream in baloney. I don't dream in fairy tales. I dream in reality. What can I get done this month that will help change my family's life? Next month that will change my family's life. I'm in the now. Not in the fantasy of $30,000 or $100,000 a month, because well, first of all, I get there. I've gotten there. Been there, done that, surpassed it. But what I want you guys to get is you got to get to this place. Grasp the reality of where you are today and think about, instead of thinking about all that stuff out there, think about where you could be tomorrow. And now I'm going to explain to you what stops most people. And then I'm going to find out who here has the guts to overcome it. Who here has the gumption to step up to the plate instead of running away and hiding in another place? Very few do. So here's what was going on, okay? I was doing pretty good past my mark. I call it my nut. I always have a goal I'm after, whether it's how many people on my call, whether it's to get a certain speaking gig, whether it's to sell so much stuff. I always have a goal. The goal is not so I can line my pockets. The goal is so that I can test myself and measure. Start setting these little minute things. I've only gotten up to 3 leads a day. I'm going for 10. Don't get caught in the ridiculosity of 10,000 leads a day. It's whatever the number is. Let's get in reality. So there I am. I'm trying to figure this out. And I ended up meeting because I was holding myself up to an image that was being portrayed to me. I was being told that everybody around me, because they had a sparkly pin on their chest, I thought that all of them were making a lot more money than me because they had a sparkly pin. And I was naive, and I believed everything that was being told to me. Well, this gentleman that I met, within the first weeks that I met, he looked at my stats and my figures. And he said, you're incredible. You're doing more than everybody else. And I was making about $7,000 a time. Wasn't, you know, I didn't think that that was huge. And he said, I want you to go back and I want to look around, because most of the people that look like they're making money aren't making any at all. Now, do I sound like, everybody talks about you got to sell a dream, you got to live the dream and all this other stuff, and I sound like, wow, Diane, you're bursting our bubble. I don't want to burst your bubble, I just want to give you the right bubble. I don't want to burst your bubble. I want you to dream large as possible and living proof of it. But you have to have the right information to do it. Does that sound fair? You know, someone raise your hand and give me some confirmation. Is it fair? Is it right that you should have the correct information so that you can progress? Because if I give you the wrong roadmap, how are you going to get where you want to go? Not fair. And then what happens is we start to measure ourselves based upon all the other people because we think something to be true of them when in fact it's not true at all. Here we go. That's why we do these calls. Guys, as the weeks progress and as people step up to take leadership here, these calls will not all be me. Times I'll speak for a while at the beginning and then we'll turn it over and the leadership will open up the lines. There will be discussion. You guys will be talking. We might flip to the conference line instead of using the webinar at times. I hate being divided from you. I hate not being able to talk to you. I hate not being able to feel you. That's why I'm not a fan of webinars. But I also know that we have people all over the place, and for many of them, the phone calls, etc., are challenging. We'll figure out a solution. People in the whole Northeast making more money than most everybody. I just had this facade because back in 1992, they made a bunch of money. This was, this was 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002. They weren't making that kind of money. They made it from the window. And I thought I was nothing compared to them. So he cured me of that. And all of a sudden I started to realize, you know what? I kind of have a clue. By the way, you don't even need to be making money to recognize that you have a clue. One of the reasons why you're attracted to me, I'm willing to bet. One of the reasons why you're here tonight, one of the reasons why you listen to some of the things I say is because there's a part of you that feels you're above all of that baloney that goes on Facebook and the Internet. Does anybody agree with that? Do you feel you're above the hype and baloney that you watch going on? Do you think that you might be smarter than just being somebody that runs around and copies and pastes and does whatever you're told to do? Part of the reason why you like listening to this is because you know you're competent. You know that you're capable, and somehow you know in your heart and soul that there's something funky about a lot of that stuff. Now, am I going to tell you that some of that stuff doesn't work? It does. I'm also going to tell you that you can't fight human nature. I used to try. I don't want to try. Write that down. Stop trying to fight human nature. Okay? Some people want to train and teach everybody and change them. I can't change anybody. And I'm still going to use certain tactics that I know are going to make me income. But I'm always going to keep doing calls like this because, one, I feel whole when I do. And two, because I know there's an audience that wants more truth. So I figured this out. I get on the Internet. It's the dawn of social media. It's the dawn of blogs. It's the dawn of video. I figure all this out, and all of a sudden, I attracted a huge crowd. Now, there might be, let me look through who's here. There might be some of you here that were here back then. Let's see. Not even Kathy Heath was here back then. I'm looking to see if there's anybody here. Seeing them. I've heard from tons of them lately because I'm back. There's one, T. I see you, T. All the way back in the day. Tim Hayes, I don't know how long you've been around. You've been around. There we go. Tom DeMeo. He was there right at the beginning. Man, I love. Attracted a big crowd. And I had people all around. And I was the cat's meow because I knew how to do video and social media and what we called quick link marketing and chain. Guys, it's so hard to believe today that it was like this, but the handful of us that knew this stuff, and there was only a handful of us, we release a video, put it on YouTube, and like in 24 hours there'd be 2,000 to 5,000 views. It was absolutely incredible. It was a wonderful window of opportunity. And now we're getting down to the love message, what I want for you guys to understand tonight. So many people came around. And so much went on. And the next thing you knew, I was on the phone. It was really kind of before webinars were popular. 7 nights a week. I was on the phone for hours on end a day. And when I wasn't on phone taking care of the man that was teaching me, I was on the phone taking that needed help. And I was on the phone so much and so hard that I kind of neglected the people I love the most. And then when I wasn't busy with all of this stuff that I was doing in the name of business and making money, I would put everything I had into my family, the one I did love the most, and I would exhaust myself on trying to please them because I felt bad about being away the other times. So here's what happened. I look around. That I was being taken care of and that I was busy loving. And I made a list of person after person after person after person after person. I sat and I felt so much emotion because I wanted to help people so bad, and I knew that I knew something that was the new horizon, and I wanted to give it. I wanted to give it. But then all of a sudden, I looked at that list, and I realized that I had listed all the people that I love, but I forgot one very important person. And I realized in a the person that was missing from the list at the top of the list, I would not progress. Now, by now, I'm thinking that you might know who the person that was missing off the list was. It wasn't Larry, my husband. He was on the list. It certainly wasn't my kids. They were on the list. It wasn't my parents, his sisters, my sisters. In fact, I put him first. The person that was missing from that list was me. And I realized that in all my search, in all my work, in all my struggle, in all my reading, in all my tape listening, in all my conference calls, in all my blog posts, they were to get to the place where you honor and accept yourself above everything. Do not collect $200. Do not get what you want. Do not go where you want to go. It always corrects itself. Are like little Rubik's Cubes. With all due respect to my friend Greg Gomez, who seems to be able to solve one of those in about 2 seconds, if you guys know Greg. For the rest of us, for most of us, kind of annoying. If somebody just shows you the code to the cube, once you know the code, you can solve it very fast. Susan, I see that you wrote it was serve your team members. Why do they leave? Because they sense that insecurity. Why do they go other places? They're always going to go other places. There's always more money, more this, more adventure, more excitement. It is what it is. But when you get know who you are and what you're about and what you stand for, it becomes very hard for anybody to knock you down. It also becomes very hard for anybody to take your income away. I can make income hanging by my toes, upside down, blindfolded in the dark. Pretty bold statement. I could teach you. I could take you all, and I've done this. I could take all of you, everybody that's on the phone, everybody that's on the webinar right now. I could take you into a private seminar room. We've done this. I could spend 4 days with you. I could teach you everything you need to know to make money, lay it out for you, and even set it up for you. And if I took 100 people into that room, and I did that, let's say you all paid me $5,000 to $10,000. We all went into a room and we spent 4 days, and I did this for you. I promise you that when we left, only 5, that many, out of it's not just my seminar, because some people go, well, your seminars suck then. Yeah, maybe they do. I don't know, but I could show you everybody else's. In fact, I'll show you Tony Robbins could put 20,000 people in a seminar in a stadium. I promise you, only 5% are going to do anything. Why? Because most people, just when it gets down to it, don't love themselves enough to allow abundance to flow into their life. Most people won't work on self-love the way I was willing to. And here standing today to tell you, if you've seen me today, especially somebody like Tom who's seen me for years, I am just fat, tough, lard now. Not being myself. Don't counsel. You're doing this thing that I do, and I did myself because I didn't love myself enough because I was worried about everybody else again. So we all go back to that place. Gagging myself just to get back and tell me I was good. Gag myself. So that, and by the way, I went to the thing where I'm in the calls all the time and this and that and everything. Calls about things that I don't care about. Want to get sick inside? Don't care about. Now, did I say that I sold anything that wasn't great? I've sold lots of things that are great. Did I say that I did anything wrong? No, I didn't do anything wrong. Did I say that I didn't make money? I did make money. Did I say that I mistreated anybody, abused anyone, or took their money when I shouldn't have? Absolutely not. I don't believe to make a living instead of making a loving. That's what job is, guys. You do it, you go through the motions to make a living. And a job is cool if you're somebody that can separate it. A lot of people keep a job. It feeds hiking, they play the guitar, they travel, 3 times a year, whatever it is, they can reconcile that. I think that most of you are freaks, and that's why you put yourself back in jail. You put yourself in the bondage. Anyway, I don't miss these calls. I knew you can talk about love. That's all I knew. I have so I put myself in bondage, and then a week ago I decided to come in. And there was You can come. Our next call, 5:30 of this is next Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Come on down. Bring anybody you want. If you want the archive, to work with us in a specific program, not even work, just join the program for $25 a month. And then for those of you that just know that you were born to be free, the reason why I'm involved in this new project, abuse my name, and right now I'm looking for my founding people. So it's not public. Some of you guys are like, I know. Good for you. Some of you guys have said, I want to play. A bunch of you did. Some of you guys have said, I reject this violently. Who has, because it does feel right to them. And some of you don't know what in the world I'm talking about. If you were invited here by me, get with me, Diane at DianeHochman.com. I will let you watch the video. If you were invited here by somebody else, get with them as well. If you can't get a hold of them, let me know. Tell me who it was that invited you, and I will get you hooked up with them properly. Valentine's Day is a day where millions of people mope around and feel like nobody loves them. How do I know? I did it. Even when I was married, because I've been married for 22 years, for so many years it wasn't good enough for the flowers. Wives, I want you to think about what I'm saying right now. It was never about any of those things. It was about the fact that we didn't love ourselves enough to be secure enough in the fact that our guy went and did the best he knew how to do. And maybe we loved ourselves a little bit better. I got a nice gift this year. I think I'm probably doing better myself, and therefore the energy reflects. People have children that abuse them. They don't love themselves. Why do people have spouses that abuse them? I don't mean physically. I just mean in general, that aren't thankful, aren't loving of them. People obnoxious to you out on the internet because you don't love yourself enough. Am I giving you a hard time? No, I'm saying you're awesome. Why not take time and celebrate you? Why not take some time and think about how freaking great you are? And if you can't find that place where you think, you know, if your mind is telling you there's something wrong with you, I dare you to go find one thing. A lot of times when I joke and I call myself the digital bat, which Tom coined me years ago, and when I say I can't this or that, people are like always thinking I'm putting myself down. See, but the difference is, I'll joke about my squabbles and things I'm not so good at, but the difference is, what I don't like about my body, that's well, I can tell you what's great about my body. I can tell you what's great about my face. I can tell you what's great about the way I write, the way I walk, the way I talk. I can equally tell you what's not so great. Work on that every single day. You got to work on that every single day, because the more you try to make money without cracking this code, the more you struggle. There is no system that's going to fix it for you. 'Cause equals 0. You guys got to get that through your head. You got to get that through your head. I literally could create, I have clients. I'll literally sit down and I'll say, here, do this, do this, do this. Bring it back to me. I'll look at it. I'll tweak it. I'll rewrite it. I'll do this, this, and that. They don't do it. I want you to examine tonight. We're going to close out the call. I want you to stop and think. I want you to take a little quiet time, maybe 10 minutes after this call, and then go back to your sweetie or whatever you're doing tonight. If you're feeling bad, go back to your pint of Haagen-Dazs, whatever it is, okay? You're never not loved, and you're never alone because if you would just love yourself, you'd always know that you're okay. And you don't need anybody else to fill you. Oh, wow. And then I'll lose sight. I'll do so well, and then I'll forget. I'll do so well, and then I'll get bummed when somebody leaves my life because somehow I think that that person was a gauge of how loved I am. You know what I figured out? It's truly painful. When I was a girl, and apologies to the parties involved if you hear about this call, but I think you'll come to know how much I love you, and that's why I'm willing to share it with other people. When I was a girl, my mom would never come to any of my assemblies, any of my award things, any of my concerts. She would never go. They'd always drop me off and pick me up. She didn't go to my own communion, my confirmation. She didn't go to all my awards things. She did go to graduation. She wouldn't go. And my whole life, until I was probably about 40, I thought my mom didn't love me enough to go to my things. I thought that my mom cared about me enough to go to my concert. All the other girls had parents there, and they'd give them flowers and stuff, and my mom didn't go. My dad worked nights, so he couldn't go. You know what I figured out when I was 40 years old? Had nothing to do with me. My mom loves me tremendously. I know that today. My mom didn't love herself, and she was too embarrassed to go in the building with all the other moms. And she spent her whole life in the shadows, not out there with her 3 beautiful daughters that were doing amazing things and getting awards and doing all kinds of stuff. Because mom didn't love herself enough that she could walk into an auditorium or a cafeteria or an assembly. Can you imagine? When we shrink away from prospects, when we sabotage our progress, when we buy into things over 100% believe that we are a king or a queen. So I can see the flicker. I said it last week. You wouldn't be here if you didn't believe it. You wouldn't believe here. You wouldn't be here. See, because other people run away from personal development in calls like this. If you're crying now, you wouldn't be here if you didn't know that it's inside of you. Because it seems the last thing I would do and the last place I would hang out to a lot of people. since I had my own organization with my partner years ago, where the people want you to be exactly a quirky little thing, where the leaders encourage people to be fringe dwellers, freaks, weirdos, nerds, whatever, geeks. What's going on inside of me, because I don't care if you don't like the way I look, get out. Because the bottom line is, after all these years, at almost 46 years of age, I love you too. And I hope you take the time to invest in yourself and learn for you. There may be a spouse waiting for you. There may be a future spouse or partner waiting for you. There may be a download memory waiting for you. There may be a prospect that is waiting to meet you, and it is your self-love. Inspire. Project Camelot. It's Diane at DianeHochman.com. I'm going to be meeting with some people tomorrow and in through next week. Around here. So one thing people never need to worry about around me, I just don't do mumbo jumbo. I don't have it. And I am going on. I'm asking you to be discreet, because people. And that's it. I want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. I want to wish you the love in the world. I want to wish you beauty and abundance and got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Quickly. So I appreciate you guys. Lords and ladies, kings and queens, dukes and duchesses of Camelot, welcome to the abyss. We'll see you next